Vijay, alias Usman, killed in an encounter.
घायल उस्मान को तत्काल अस्पताल शिफ्ट किया गया, जहां इलाज के दौरान उसकी मृत्यु हुई।
Uttar Pradesh police carries out searches at the Muslim hostel. Mafia turned Neta, Atiq Ahmed's sister, alleges political vendetta.
इसमें हमारे दोनों भाइयों को जेल से बाहर निकाल के एनकाउंटर कर सकते हैं।
4 shooters, including Asad and Guddu Muslim, still absconding. Will the UP police succeed in bringing the shooters to justice? That's our top focus on India First. So the Uttar Pradesh police insists Vijay Kumar, alias Usman, was the first shooter who opened fire at Umesh Pal and then at Uttar Pradesh police constables, the gunners there to protect Umesh Pal, Constable Sandeep Nishad and Constable Raghavendra. Police raided Usman's house in Prayagraj late last night. This morning, the police say he was killed in an encounter. Police have also reached the Muslim hostel associated with the Allahabad University. Atiq Ahmed's sister, meanwhile, Aisha Noori, insists all of this is political vendetta just because Atiq Ahmed's wife, Shaista Parveen, was campaigning to be mayor of Prayagraj. Incidentally, no house was demolished today, but police say the hunt is on to nab Atiq Ahmed's son, Asad, and some of the other accused, including Guddu Muslim. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Is this political vendetta or due process of law being followed? We debate. But first, as always, the headlines. Rahul Gandhi addresses the British Parliament, reiterates democracy under threat in India, says open and free conversations being suppressed by the Narendra Modi government. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia to spend Holi in Tihar jail, remanded to 14 days in judicial custody in the Delhi Liquorgate case. The Central Bureau of Investigation is now to grill Lalu Prasad Yadav in the Land for Jobs scam tomorrow. His wife and former Bihar Chief Minister Rabdi Devi was questioned today. Opposition leaders write to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and allege misuse of probe agencies. Telangana and Karnataka governments fight it out over iPhone manufacturing plant. Foxconn says no deal finalized during its CEO's India visit. Fear and panic grips migrant laborers in Tamil Nadu as alleged fake videos of attacks on migrant laborers go viral. The MK Stalin government assures North Indians of safety, says census of all migrants underway. The Prayagraj police in an early morning encounter claimed to have neutralized the first shooter in the Prayagraj case. Vijay, alias Usman Chowdhary, can be seen on CCTV cameras holding a plastic bag in one hand and shooting straight, first at Umesh Pal and then at Constable Sandeep Nishad and Constable Raghavendra. He and the other shooters succeeded in escaping from the crime scene, but multiple teams, including that of the Special Task Force of the Uttar Pradesh Police, were out to hunt for the shooters. The fact remains, 10 days after that shootout in Prayagraj, the police are yet to get either Asad, Atiq Ahmed's son, or some of the other shooters.
Another encounter in the Umesh Pal murder case. Atiq Ahmed gang's shooter gunned down by the Prayagraj police. Vijay Chaudhary, alias Usman, was killed in the wee hours of Monday in a Vikas Dubey encounter style. Usman was rushed to the Swarup Rani Nehru Hospital where the doctors declared him dead. Hailing the encounter, UP mantris warned the Mafia Raj of meeting the same fate under the Yogi government.
प्रकार की घटनाओं को अंजाम देने वालों का यही हाल होता है। पूरी पुलिस टीम को बधाई। उत्तर प्रदेश की 25 करोड़ जनता को विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि यूपी पुलिस उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए तत्पर है।
सभी अपराधियों को प्रयागराज वाले मामले में कानून के तहत कड़ी से कड़ी सजा देने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। अपराधी कितने दुर्दांत हैं कि वो पुलिस पर भी हमला करने से बाज नहीं आ रहे हैं और इस मामले में एक एक अपराधी को पकड़ करके उसे सजा मिलेगी, ये हमारी प्रतिबद्धता है।
Cops say it was dreaded Usman who fired the first shot in killing Umesh Pal. But his wife differed from the police narrative.
ये हम नहीं पता है सर हम लोगों को कि उस्मान आशीष कहाँ पता। हम लोग घर में विजय और क्या कहते हैं नान बाबा।
सरकार की 0 की नीति है और उन माफियाओं के खिलाफ मिट्टी में मिलाने का काम उनको हमारी।
Reiterating Yogi's "Mitti mein mila denge" vow, BJP Neta said another tranche of justice has been served in the best possible way. But the opposition is up in arms, questioning the Yogi government on these back-to-back encounters. Noose is also tightening around Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf, who are also lodged behind bars in the same murder case. Ashraf's wife and Atiq's sister cried foul, claiming they're being tortured day and night by the police.
वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी करना हो, दोनों भाइयों को जेल के अंदर ही उनसे इन्वेस्टिगेशन ले लिया जाए, कर लिया जाए, पूछताछ कर लिया जाए, जेल से बाहर बिल्कुल ना निकाला जाए। उनकी जान का बहुत खतरा है। मैं मुख्यमंत्री जी से यही अपील करती हूँ कि
आपने साजिश की बात की है बाजी, कौन कर रहा है?
मेयर इस वक्त जो मेयर है वो साजिश कर रही है, जिससे हमारी भाभी जो है इलेक्शन किसी तरह फाइट ना कर पाए, कि उनको बहुत ज्यादा समर्थन मिलना।
Remember, Umesh Pal, the key witness in the former BSP MLA Raju Pal's murder case, was shot dead on February 24th outside his home. With Samat Srivastava and Santosh Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Muslim hostel of the Allahabad University has now been sealed. Police had initially sealed only room number 36 of the Muslim hostel. Large contingent of Uttar Pradesh police personnel went to the Muslim hostel first this afternoon and a bigger contingent later this evening. The police claim that the conspiracy to kill Umesh Pal, witness in the Raju Pal case, was hatched in room number 36 of the Muslim hostel. Uttar Pradesh police say Sadakat Khan lived in room number 36 of the Muslim hostel and he was a student of law, a student of LLB. Police have now sealed off the entire hostel. And for more on the story, I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Santosh Sharma joining us live from Prayagraj. Santosh, can you tell us the latest? What's happening right now? Why has the entire hostel been sealed if the conspiracy was hatched only in room number 36?
The day on Sadakat was arrested from Muslim hostel, his hostel room number 36, where the whole conspiracy of Umesh Pal murder was hatched. On that day, only that room was sealed. But today, with the large contingent of UP police and the administration of, we can say the Muslim hostel superintendent, searched the whole hostel. Okay. And at that time, they claimed that more than 66 students are there who are in the hostel illegally. They don't want to be in the hostel, but forcefully by the muscle power, these 66 students or more than that, they are residing in the hostel. And today an action has been taken by the local authority of hostel and with the help of police. Now the whole Muslim hostel has been sealed, and now a thorough we can say the thorough investigation will be taken by the UP police and even from the administration of Muslim hostel to search out each and every name of the student who is residing in that Muslim hostel.
Okay. University hostels cannot be dens for crime and for mafia to hide. That's the claim of the Uttar Pradesh police. Room-to-room searches will be carried out. Stay with me for a moment. Incidentally, mafia don turned politician Atiq Ahmed's sister Aisha Noori has alleged political vendetta in the targeting of Atiq Ahmed's wife, Shaista Parveen. Now, she spoke to journalists a short while back, and Aisha Noori claimed because Shaista Parveen had joined the Bahujan Samaj Party and was contesting elections, she was campaigning to be mayor of Prayagraj, she was being targeted to ensure that she is thrown out of the race.
उमेश पाल हत्याकांड में जो एक परिवार का सबसे ज्यादा नाम लिया जा रहा है वो है अतीक अहमद का। अतीक अहमद की छोटी बहन आशा नूरी हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए हैं, उनसे ही बात करेंगे। ये बताइए कि आप क्या कहना चाह रही हैं कि जिस तरीके से आपके भाइयों का नाम आ रहा है, आपके भतीजों का नाम आ रहा है इस उमेश पाल हत्याकांड में?
सर, सबसे पहले तो हम ये कहना चाहेंगे कि अभी अभी हम प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके बाहर निकल रहे थे। बाहर आए हैं तो हमको ये सूचना मिली कि हमारे पति को एसटीएफ ने उठा लिया है।
आपके पति का क्या नाम है?
इखलाक अहमद।
अच्छा, उनको एसटीएफ ने
उठा लिया। और हम आए थे प्रेस में इसलिए कि हमारे दोनों भाइयों का एनकाउंटर का खतरा है। हम लोगों को 4 दिन तक रखा गया था पूछताछ के लिए वहाँ पर। 4 दिन हम तीनों को वहाँ पर करेली महिला डेस्क में 4 दिन से परिवार वालों को कोई पता नहीं दिया गया था कि हम लोग कहाँ हैं। हमारा परिवार और हमारी भाभी के छोटे छोटे बच्चे सब परेशान थे, उनका पेपर चल रहा था। तो अब हम प्रेस में आ जाए थे, हमारा स्वास्थ्य बिगड़ गया था। हमको रात के 3 बजे हम लोगों को उठाया गया था, 3:30 बजे।
किस तारीख को उठा, कब, कौन सी तारीख को उठाया गया?
संख्या में फोर्स आई थी, पूरे प्रशासन की फोर्स लगी थी, हम लोगों को उठा ले आई थी। और अभी अभी हम इसीलिए आए थे कि हमारे दोनों भाइयों को एसटीएफ अमिताभ यश से ख़तरा है कि वो पूछताछ के जो बहुचर्चित हत्याकांड हुआ है इसमें हमारे दोनों भाइयों को जेल से बाहर निकाल के इनकाउंटर कर सकते हैं, कि इसमें इनका प्लान था। वो कई साल से सर जेल में थे। वो उसमें हमारी भाभी को मेन रीज़न सर उसमें ये है कि हमारी भाभी बसपा से में जब से ज्वाइन किया है तब से जो यहाँ के मेयर है वो नहीं चाहती कि हमारी भाभी मेयर इलेक्शन लड़े, क्योंकि उनको भारी सपोर्ट मिल रहा है। और अब हम लोग जब अपनी गुहार लगाने प्रेस में गए, मुख्यमंत्री जी से भी हम गुहार लगा रहे हैं मेरे दोनों भाइयों की सुरक्षा की जाए, उनसे जो भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूछताछ है जेल के अंदर कर ली जाए। दोनों भाइयों से, अशरफ से भी और सांसद भूतपूर्व सांसद अतीक अहमद जी से भी और भूतपूर्व विधायक अशरफ से भी।
तो क्या सिर्फ
इन्वेस्टिगेशन उनसे करना है, उनको जेल के अंदर ही से कर ली जाए, बाहर उनको न निकाला जाए। बहुत उनका सर एसटीएफ जो अमिताभ यश जी हैं, इन्होंने हम लोग को टॉर्चर किया कि बचेंगे नहीं, एनकाउंटर कर देंगे हम।
Let me now throw this open for a wider discussion. Is this political vendetta? Due process of law? Is due process of law being followed? We hope to be joined by Anurag Bhadoria of the Samajwadi Party. Sharad Trivedi represents the Bharatiya Janata Party. Dr. Vikram Singh is former Director General of the Uttar Pradesh Police. With me, my colleague stays with me, Santosh Sharma, on the story. Santosh, is the Uttar Pradesh police on the right track, sealing of the entire Muslim hostel? Because many say that this is political vendetta. You just heard, you spoke to Aisha Noori. She says this is political vendetta.
Yes, she claimed that this is the political vendetta as Aisha Noori, or we can say the first time after Umesh Pal murder, Atiq family, any member of the Atiq family first time came in front of camera and talked India Today exclusively. And Aisha Noori, she's the younger sister of Atiq Ahmed, and she claimed that that Shaista, who's the wife of Atiq, is now going to contest a local body election and for the mayor in Prayagraj. And on the other side, she, we can say, she said that Abhilasha Nandi, wife of cabinet minister Nand Gopal Nandi, she said they are conspiring. And one more thing.
Stay with me for a moment. Stay with me for a moment. Anurag Bhadoria, is the Uttar Pradesh police on the right track, sealing of the entire Muslim hostel?
देखिए, मेरा सीधा सा सवाल है और मुझे लगता है कि सरकार को उसका जवाब भी देना चाहिए कि जिस तरह की गुंडागर्दी उत्तर प्रदेश के रोडों पे देखने को मिली, जिस तरह से गोली बारूद चले और दिन दहाड़े आपने देखा होगा कि 2 पुलिस वाले और जो गवाह था उसकी मौत हो गई। अब इसकी अगर इतना ही खौफ और डर, जैसे सरकार दावा करती है कि गुंडों में बहुत डर बैठा दिया है हमने, बुलडोजर से लोग बहुत डर गए हैं, अगर डर गए हैं तो फिर ये कौन लोग हैं जो सड़क पे गुंडागर्दी कर रहे हैं? फिर कौन लोग हैं जिन्होंने कानपुर में जिनकी वजह से माँ बेटी जल गई? फिर कौन लोग हैं जिन्होंने आपने देखा लखनऊ में दिन दहाड़े चौराहे पे एक ब्लॉक प्रमुख की हत्या कर दी गई गोली मार के? फिर कौन लोग हैं जो 4-5 दिन पहले जौनपुर में एक पत्रकार को गोली मारते हैं? फिर कौन लोग हैं वो जो हाथरस की घटना करते हैं? फिर कौन लोग हैं जो लखीमपुर में 4 लोगों को रौंद देते हैं? तो आपका एक्शन से गुंडों में डर कहां है?
ठीक,
तो इस बात पे
इसका उत्तर शरद त्रिवेदी से लेते। शरद त्रिवेदी, गुंडों में, माफियाओं में डर नहीं है, चाहे बुलडोजर हो या बुलेट हो, दोनों की कार्रवाई हो, लेकिन माफियाओं में डर नहीं है, यह आरोप है समाजवादी पार्टी का। और दूसरा प्रश्न कि पूरे मुस्लिम हॉस्टल को क्यों बंद कर दिया अगर कॉन्स्पिरेसी केवल कमरा नंबर 36 में थी?
Gaurav, first of all, these people are professionals, and I don't think any action by the state is going to affect their thought process. They are going to continue with what they are doing. We've been hunting them for last 6 years. There have been 60,000 people locked up under Gunda Act, 8,000 under NSA, and we have had 1,800 encounters with 175 people being the criminals being killed. But the issue is that the kind of professionalism these criminals have shown and the kind of political patronage they had in the last 25-30 years, they have got a history of almost 40 years. Atiq Ahmed, Mukhtar Ansari, Azam Khan, they are professional criminals with history of almost 40 years now. So to say that the kind of relentless pressure that the government is exerting on them is going to affect their mentality, I don't think it's too soon to have a judgment on that.
Fair enough. Why seal off the entire hostel, sir, if the conspiracy was had just in room number 36?
No, I just heard your correspondent was saying that the conspiracy was hatched in one room, but the 66 people who were staying there were probably being forced to stay there as a cover to these kind of activities which are going on there. So probably that was the reason why the whole hostel was sealed and all these illegal activities have been stopped there.
Okay. Dr. Vikram Singh, are the police following due process of law? In your opinion, sir, is it okay to seal off the entire hostel if the conspiracy was hatched in just one room? Or there are some allegations that this is collective punishment for the actions of a few? Dr. Vikram Singh, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Strength 5. Go on, sir.
I would say that collective action has no place in criminal. It is always productive.
I would say that room number 36 was a seat of conspiracy. Yes, it should be sealed and subjected to all kinds of forensic and other scientific aids to investigation. Other rooms, which perhaps could be a part of the larger conspiracy, could also be subjected. But sealing the entire hostel, I have my own reservations, and I do not approve of such actions. And I would say a recommend to the police commissioner to take a re-look at this action. And as your reporter said, that there were possible occupants in this hostel, all possible occupants, not only from the Muslim boarding house, but all the hostels should be removed. Because I belong to that university and I know that some old students who have been staying in hostels for decades and decades unauthorizedly, they need to be evicted because they also are a source of relentless, continuous nuisance, and they need to be thrown out of the university premises.
Fair enough.
It should not be single hostel, but all the hostels of the university.
Okay. Anurag Bhadoria, the Samajwadi Party had taken on the Yogi Adityanath government on poor law and order situation in the state after the shootout. Yogi Adityanath said, mafia ko mitti mein mila dunga. But isn't that what the police are saying? The BJP says, of course, mafia like Atiq Ahmed or Mukhtar Ansari or their gang will remain strong till neutralized. But they're following the bullet and bulldozer policy.
मुझे तो अभी तक समझ में नहीं आया कि कल्याण सिंह जी 3 बार चीफ मिनिस्टर थे उत्तर प्रदेश के, राजनाथ सिंह जी भी चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, आज भी 6 साल से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, तो क्या ये बीजेपी की सरकारें अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भागती हैं? जब अपोजिशन में रहती हैं तो सत्ता पक्ष को जिम्मेदार ठहराती हैं, सत्ता पक्ष में है तो विपक्ष को जिम्मेदार ठहराती हैं। तो ये सत्ता में रह के अपनी जिम्मेदारी कब निभाएंगे, सवाल ये उठता है। हमेशा अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भागने की कोशिश क्यों करते हैं? भाई आपकी सरकार है, आपकी पुलिस है, आपका प्रशासन है, आपके समय गुंडे रोड पे बम बारूद चला रहे हैं और आप जिम्मेदारी दूसरी पार्टी पे देना चाहते हैं। इसके मतलब कि आपने सत्ता ने, जो जनता ने आपको वोट दिया है, जो जनता ने आपको सत्ता दी है, वो जनता की आप जो ड्यूटी जनता के प्रति आपको जवाबदेही होनी चाहिए, उस जवाबदेही से आप बचना चाहते हो।
Respond, Sharad Trivedi. Respond. Why blame the opposition? You've been in power long enough now, sir, and re-elected.
Gaurav, I think that is the precise reason why we have had not one single act of terrorism in Uttar Pradesh where bombs were being exploded in almost all the districts. Not a single case of communal violence or riots has happened. They attempted once and the kind of hammering that the Reuters got, that they never attempted it again. But the issue is that this is the last hurrah of these criminals. It was a rogues gallery. Uttar Pradesh was in the dumps. Today, we have got the chairman of Hiranandani Group saying that we never wanted to go to Uttar Pradesh, but now the kind of development that has happened, the kind of security that has been provided in the last 6 years, we are going to invest in India. We have had 33 lakh crore proposals for investment in Uttar Pradesh.
And so far, Mr. Trivedi, whether it's Asad, Atiq Ahmed's son, he hasn't been arrested. His bua, Aisha Noori, says that the man that is seen in those pictures is not Asad. He was in Lucknow at the time of crime and he's being falsely implicated. The others are also at large, sir.
Gaurav, these people are professionals. They are thugs of the highest order. They are history cheaters. They know how to play gimmicks. They know how to play with the law. They know how to create an alibi. They know how to conduct an operation of this magnitude and have escape routes. They are almost are at par with the kind of professionalism that the police force has got. They've been decades into this kind of an activity. They have been shooting. They have been grabbing land. They have been indulging in drugs. They have been indulging in every conceivable criminal activity till date. The kind of pressure that we are exerting after that, if they are not coming in their senses, we can imagine safely the kind of situation that we were facing 6 years back. And we have dragged the situation to this level that there are few and far in between cases like this which are happening.
Let me also bring in Santosh. Okay, Santosh, the police are yet to reach Asad, Guddu Muslim, Sabir and Muhammad Ghulam. It's been 10 days. Does that show, one, poor intelligence or poor operations, or worse, are some people in Uttar Pradesh still sheltering them? Because that would indicate a much bigger problem at hand.
Today is the 11th day of Umesh Pal murder, and during this 11 days, more than 15 teams of police, Prayagraj police, or whether it was UP STF of Prayagraj or Lucknow and all, these teams are hunting, and still the son of Atiq Ahmed, Asad, Muhammad Ghulam, Guddu Muslim, Sabir, these are the names and who have the reward of 2.5 lakhs. And still they are absconding, and UP police having no connection of where they are, whereabouts, where is Asad, where is Guddu Muslim, where is Muhammad Ghulam.
Okay. Anurag Bhadoria, at the same time, the Uttar Pradesh police says within 48 hours, Arbaz, the driver, he was neutralized. Sadakat Khan was arrested before he could escape from that Muslim hostel. Vijay alias Usman has been neutralized. Police, it is argued, is moving in a very systematic way. Mr. Trivedi says that at least this is the last hurrah of the mafia. The BJP says both bullet and bulldozers are being used to decimate mafia in Uttar Pradesh.
आपको मालूम है कि एक राहिल हसन है इनके, जो अल्पसंख्यक के वहां के यूथ के अध्यक्ष हैं, कहां के? प्रयागराज की, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अल्पसंख्यक प्रयागराज के अध्यक्ष हैं राहिल हसन। उनका एक रिश्ते में भाई है जिसका नाम ले रहे हैं आप, वो भी इसमें शामिल है। इस जो बमबारी हुई उसमें उसका भी नाम है। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेता के रिश्तेदार इसमें क्या कर रहे थे, मैं पूछना चाहता हूं। फिर जब ये आवाज उठाई गई तो उन्होंने कहा मैंने अब उसको निकाल दिया, अब हमने इसको पार्टी से निकाल दिया। यही मेरा सवाल यही है, अगर सारे एक्शन आप पहले ले लो इन गुंडों पे तो शायद ये वारदातें नहीं हुई जिस तरह की वारदातें हो रही हैं। एक बात। दूसरी बात, जब इस तरह की घटना जब भी होती है तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास क्या कहने को होता है पता है आपको? ये हमेशा उसको विपक्ष से जोड़ने के लिए या अपनी ऊपर से जिम्मेदारी हटाने के लिए इस पार्टी उस पार्टी का नाम लेके बचते हैं। मैं इनसे कहता हूं अगर ये आप बंद कर दीजिए तो कम से कम गुंडों का हौसला नहीं बढ़ेगा। आप गुंडों को बचाने की कोशिश क्यों करते हो? आप कहिए ना गुंडे गुंडे हैं, इनके पास कार्रवाई होगी। इस पार्टी से उस पार्टी से इस पार्टी से जोड़ने का क्यों बात करते हो? प्लस
शरद त्रिवेदी,
आपराधिक मुकदमे नहीं, एक सेकंड, आपने ही विधानसभा में अपराधियों के मुकदमे वापस क्यों किए? कितने मुकदमे आपने वापस लिए?
Sharad Trivedi, respond to the fact that one of the accused is linked to a leader of your party, sir.
See that I did not want to bring the communal angle to this issue because that is the key area of Samajwadi Party. That's fine. They've got it in. Now I'll explain it. We have had the Vikas Yadav encounter, we had Vijay Mishra encounter, we had the encounters with Akash Jat, Ankit Gujar, we had recovery of 300 crores in Kanpur, and we had recovered the terrorists were arrested from Maliabad.
Okay.
All these activities were done because there was a communal angle, because we had a very specific selection of the caste and class criteria and the community and the religion. We are dealing with criminals.
Fair enough.
They already have that kind of a wherewithal. They had political patronage in the past, and once we came to know about it, the person was immediately removed from the party. We are not imagining things. We operate on the legal system. We operate on the basis of the information that we obtain. We are not going to go around shooting people just like that.
Dr. Vikram Singh, what do you make of Aisha Noori saying Shaista Parveen is being fixed? This is political vendetta because she wanted to contest elections on the Bahujan Samaj Party ticket and become mayor of Prayagraj.
Exactly.
The weakest possible defense ever. There is no substance or merit in what these allegations say, because this is some political detour. The fact of the matter is that Umesh Pal was done to death in broad daylight, bombs were hurled, and the assassins were in more than half a dozen, and they have to be accounted for. I would compliment the UP police for having accounted for 2 by way of encounter and 1 by way of arrest. And I would say that yes, this is the first stepping stone to completing and finishing touches to the investigation. But yes, you have miles to go before you sleep. Account for the entire gang, including Atiq Ahmed, his son, and others.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. Dr. Vikram Singh, and of course, for joining me here on this show. Many thanks, Sharat Trivedi and Anurag Bhadoria. The fact does remain that some of the accused are still to join investigations. That is all we have time for on India First this evening. Coming up next is Abha Bakaya with Business Today.
India Today Conclave 2023, March 17th and 18th, New Delhi. Listen to John V. Kapoor, Malaika Arora, Anita Sengupta, Abha Adams, Hajar Chena Ramani, Dr. Ruha Shadab. The India Moment.
Huge deal. I got the election. I got ATN. I got plenty on my plate.
He's on the floor, Tom.
Explain to me what he's doing.
He's moseying, terrifyingly moseying. It's like if Santa Claus was a hitman.
The makers have released the trailer of 4th season of Succession. The story will showcase Roy siblings' battle against their father Logan, who outmaneuvered them with some sneaky help from Tom.
I need a fire breather. Your help with maths.
You really want me?
I need you.
Mr. Mencken, my most unworthy opponent.
Still clinging to your slice of pie.
Where are you at now?
1%. Succession will star Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, Sarah Snook, Alexander Skarsgård, and Peter Friedman, among others.
I love you, but you are not serious people.
I have it on good authority. There is a kill list.
Ken, is your head on straight?
We've been schooled by a barbarian that goes by the name Logan Roy.
I mean, he's out of control.
The series will consist 10 episodes and will start streaming on 26th March.
Possibly imagine.
I have some concerns about your old man.
I will sue, and I will go public.
You point your finger at me, I point my finger at you.
We are gonna grind you down, man. We are sand in the gears. I hate you. Do you understand that?
Loud and clear.
Good. Done.
I'm gonna build something bigger, faster, wilder. I want to kill the opposition. Cut their throats. We are pirates!
Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Markets extend winning streak to a second day as Adani Group stocks rally at 2 lakh crore market cap in just 5 days. Sensex up over 400 points. Nifty gains 117 points. Rahul Singh of Tata Asset Management identifies the latest threat for the Indian stock markets. Listen in to the market guru in an exclusive conversation with Uday Mukherjee. Scathing attack on Congress by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal accuses the previous UPA government of destroying the Indian FMCG industry by allowing indiscriminate, low-quality imports from a particular geography. iPhone maker Foxconn plays 2 southern states against each other, finalizes a manufacturing plant in Telangana just hours after signing an MOU for 300 acres near Bengaluru in the presence of Karnataka Chief Minister. Sovereign gold bond scheme opens for subscription until Friday. You can buy paper gold at 5,611 rupees per gram. Business Today TV gives you a big reason to include the yellow metal in your portfolio. Stock markets extended their gains for a second straight session to settle higher today. Benchmarks cheered the positive cues from domestic and global markets. However, headline peers saw some profit booking in the second half of the trading session. The 30-share pack BSE Sensex jumped 415 points. Nifty was up at 17,711. Broader markets outperforming the headline indices as the BSE mid-cap and small-cap index both gained over 1% each. Adani Enterprise has made its name again in the list of top gainers along with Tata Motors, ONGC, NTPC and Power Grid. Among the laggards, we have Britannia and a few metal names like Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Hindalco and L&T. Capital markets are closed tomorrow on account of Holi. Inflation, rate hikes, geopolitical uncertainty. If these weren't concerns enough for capital markets, there's another one on the horizon. El Nino weather patterns which threaten to hit monsoons this year. India Today Group Global Business Editor Uday Mukherjee discussed the likely scenarios with market guru Rahul Singh of Tata Asset Management. Listen in.
So let me ask you a few more granular questions about the whole consumption piece. Let's start from the top, the ones which are not seen as rural focused but are very expensive. They've been underperforming over the last few quarters. The names, the expensive ones like Asian Paints and Pidilite and Havells. Do you see further room for compression of their multiples or have they compressed enough?
So let me take a step back and let's try and understand what are the things happening. I mean, there are two big trends happening in the market today. One is that obviously we are no longer in a low interest rate environment and easy liquidity environment, which had led to these valuations going up much more than the earnings growth rate. The stock prices went up much more than the earnings growth rate. So there is a valuation discipline coming back into the market. Let me just re-emphasize that word, valuation discipline. It doesn't mean that every expensive stock is doing badly, but discipline is definitely coming back. And the second thing which is happening is that we are seeing a revival in the cyclical parts of the economy, which is credit growth, investment cycle, real estate, manufacturing. So, ultimately, it's a zero-sum game. One of the reasons why some of these stocks or sectors became expensive was, apart from low interest rates, was also because of lack of alternatives, because the cyclical part of the economy was not doing well. Now that part of the economy has also started firing after, almost a lost decade, we are seeing a dual impact on let's say the defensive, high quality, high growth, high PE kind of stocks, which are coming under pressure from both aspects, high interest rates, as well as the alternatives which are now available in the market to really generate alpha.
No, fair point. But has this trade played itself out mostly, or do you think there is more to go?
Well, I think it can be a beginning of a fairly long period of, time correction or valuation discipline to keep coming back and hurting some of these stocks, especially the stocks or companies which are not able to keep pace with the earning expectations which are out there. in some of the cases is still very high. The growth expectations can still be very high. So any minor disappointments pre 2021 used to go unnoticed if it was a high quality, high growth stock. Not anymore. So I think the room for error has reduced, and the margin of safety, which was never there, but margin of safety today gets punished if you're not able to keep pace with growth. So look, India is a growth market, so growth will always get some premium. Let's not make any mistake about it. And we also look for growth when we invest. But if the valuations have gone much beyond the growth expectations, or if quality has got a premium which cannot be justified mathematically beyond a point, I think that process can go on for a fair bit long. Remember that the reverse has happened over the last 7-10 years. And right now we are only 1 year into this process of what I call as, valuation discipline coming back into the market. And, we could just be in the beginning of that process.
What about the more rural-focused part of the consumption basket? The names like Relaxo and, the Daburs of the world. Would you be more circumspect given what you just said about the monsoons for the next few quarters?
Yes, I think in the rural economy, as I mentioned, at the margin, the monsoon news flow is not great news for sure. So one will have to evaluate the rural economy leveraged companies or companies which are too dependent on rural economy to fire. We'll have to look at it from that angle. But look, I think we've had these warnings. This is still very, very early in the process of, trying to call out monsoons. As you know, with monsoons in India, I think the average numbers also can be high and the spatial distribution can be bad. So, it's very, very difficult in a country like India to generalize and paint with a very broad brush. So we will have to take company-specific calls, frankly, because, even in consumer companies, there are companies which have been hit not only by top-line slowdown, but also due to margin pressure. In some cases, the margin pressure today may not be as bad as it was last 1 or 2 years. So really, for consumption as a theme, it is becoming extremely stock-specific, bottom-up kind of a market. We are no longer trying to play consumption as a theme because there are multiple things happening in the economy today: interest rates, input costs, rural economy in terms of the monsoons, etc. So it becomes a very bottom-up market, and not just for consumption. This is in general true for the markets per se, but more for consumption today.
What you said about valuations compressing, valuation discipline coming back, if you were to extrapolate that question to the broader market, would you say India's challenge today is more earnings related or more valuation related, given that we've seen some semblance of correction over the last few weeks?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think the problem today, or let's say the process today which we are going through, seems more like a valuation problem. As far as the earnings growth rate is concerned, the composition might change. So we might have banks and capital goods and industrials doing better. Consumption may not be doing so well. IT might just hold on. Pharma may not be that good. So overall, it could be a trajectory which could be, it could be either 12% growth rate or 15-16% growth rate. We are talking in that kind of range. As far as valuations are concerned, till a few months back or till 2-3 months back, we were at a pretty higher end of the valuation premium to other emerging markets. Our valuation premium to other emerging markets had reached 85 to 90%, if I'm not mistaken, in the month of November, December. Now that's down to 65% today, thanks to other markets doing well and to small correction which we have had, and time-based correction as well as the small correction we have. So we are now at a 65% valuation premium to the MSCI Emerging Market Index. which is not the same as what we have traded in the last 10 years, which has been in the range of 45-50%. So you can argue we are still a little bit on the higher side, but the excess which was there in November, December of 85-90% premium, that excess is definitely gone. And from here on, obviously, earnings become important, and also how the other markets do become important. So let's not forget that one of the reasons why this valuation premium went up to the high levels of 80-90% is also because China did not do well. Other emerging markets, which are more linked to the US and European markets, declined much more, and India held steady. So all we had to do was hold steady, and our premium kept on expanding. And therefore, what happens to this premium is not just a function of our earnings growth rate. It's also a function of what happens in China, how quick is their unlocking and how much more money goes there. Those are the questions which I think will drive that premium. As far as absolute valuations are concerned, we are coming to a reasonable level now. I mean, if you look at fiscal 24 earnings, we will now be trading at 17.5 times P. This I'm talking about Nifty 50. So, give or take 5%, we are there. We are there at a fair valuation. So from here on, the confidence level is a little higher that at least our, equity returns should be tracking the earnings growth rate and not really lagging the earnings growth rate, which was the case in November, December.
Watch the full show on YouTube as well as on our website, businesstoday.in. A 2 lakh crore rupee market cap jump in just 5 trading days. The Adani Group shares have been on a roll this past week. Even today, all group stocks except cement rallied for a 5th straight day. But is the rally for real, and should retail investors test their fortunes in Adani counters? Here's a report.
For more than a month, shares of companies promoted by Gautam Adani were hammered, reduced to a third of their value by a short seller's report alleging large-scale fraud and insider trading. But now, the stocks are bouncing back, adding nearly 2 lakh crore rupees to the value of the group in just 5 days. Since hitting a combined low on 27th of Feb, Adani Enterprises is up 66% or 90,000 crore rupees. Adani Wilmar is up 28% and Adani Power is up 27%. The net worth of the group is now 8.8 lakh crore rupees, up from a low of 6.8 lakh crore a week ago. It is still way below the 19 lakh crore before the Hindenburg report dented the group. It was the acquisition of stake in Adani companies by this man, Rajiv Jain of GQG Partners, which turned the tide for the Adani Group. The Fort Lauderdale-based company bought stake worth 15,446 crore rupees in 4 Adani companies, signalling much-needed confidence in the beleaguered group. There are other reasons for the huge gains as well. The Adani Group has prepaid more than $1 billion in loans which were due next year. The company has been holding roadshows in financial hubs like Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, London and the US to assure investors and raise funds. Several group companies have also grabbed big orders in the past few days, affirming the group's claims that its cash flow situation is smooth.
For a retail investor or a high appetite trader, they need to be always on their toes. As the stocks have been witnessing rallies, take some profit from the table. There's always important traders and investors, but one needs to be very much watchful.
One of the biggest concerns about the Adani Group remains the allegations against it. Allegations which are now being investigated by 2 parallel Supreme Court monitored probes. There are also fears that the skyrocketing stock prices may again take the PE ratios of the Adani companies to the stratospheric heights which made the stocks allegedly overvalued in the first place. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Let's take a very quick break. Back with more on the other side.
This is paradise for a tech geek. The Lucid Air here at the Mobile World Congress. A very good looking car. 0 to 100 in under 2.7 seconds. 1,111 horsepower. Nearly $150,000 in the US. We haven't seen this back home. But if you speak to Lucid, they're not comparing it to the Tesla, interestingly. They talk about comparing it to the EQS or even more premium cars out there in the market. But here's an exclusive first look of the Lucid Air at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. There's a lot of things happening here at the Congress. EVs, not too many. We've seen a Tesla. There's one parked right over there as well. And then, of course, you have a Lucid here as well. There's more EVs at the Auto Expo and, of course, at CES Las Vegas. But, of course, technology, EVs, it's all one big bucket. And, of course, you get all that coverage on Tech Today. And when we do take that out for a drive, and maybe we'll get you exclusive visuals very soon, you might need to take a break, strap up, put your seatbelt on, and be prepared for it. And I'll tell you how I want to exit this particular frame. Well, this is me at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And this also happens to be me at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And off I go.
Welcome back. In a scathing attack on the previous Congress government, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the country's FMCG sector was severely hit by the laws allowing indiscriminate low-quality imports. Without naming any country, the minister added that imports from a particular geography caused a huge rise in trade deficit between 2004 and 2014.
The consumer industry in India, FMCGs and other such products have been a victim of indiscriminate low-quality imports, because of which India has suffered, Indians have suffered. I think over the last 25, 30 years, while on the one hand we tried to liberalize the economy, I suspect after a big bang in 1991, we kind of faltered along the way. And by 94 or so, we saw the reform movement stagnating, then saw a long period of 20 years of coalition governments which did not really bring stability into the system, during which period Indian manufacturing got weaker. Of course, a number of foreign companies or foreign suppliers did come into the country, some of them manufactured in India, most of them imported into India. And during that period, when we should have strengthened our domestic ecosystem, strengthened Indian industry, strengthened investments in domestic manufacturing, focused on quality, focused on scale, I think we lost out by allowing a lot of indiscriminate, low quality, low cost goods coming into the country. I was sharing probably a couple of days back the details where our own imports from one geography led to an increase of the trade deficit with that country from barely $1 billion odd, $1.2 billion to about $48 billion in a 10-year span between 4 and 14. And that broke the back of Indian manufacturing. It actually created a set of business persons who literally became dependent on imports, who met the consumer demand, but met them through pricing which was often just meant to undercut all domestic manufacturing, sometimes predatory, and in the process we weakened the drive that India should have had for promoting Indian domestic high-quality manufacturing.
Karnataka and Telangana are in a war to outfox each other over setting up an iPhone manufacturing plant. Two meetings of the Foxconn chairman with the two chief ministers has set off a big political war and speculation about where Foxconn will set up shop next. What is, however, indisputable is the fact that another big investment by Foxconn could be a game changer for the tech industry in India.
the mission to make India the second biggest maker of iPhones after China, and then to slowly, over the next few years, dethrone China from that #1 position. Taiwanese giant Foxconn has announced it will invest billions of dollars in India to expand its manufacturing presence on the subcontinent, including a venture to make semiconductors. Already armed with facilities in Tamil Nadu and Andhra, Foxconn's next big facility will be either in Telangana or Karnataka. Foxconn expanding in India would be massive leg up for India's manufacturing dreams, especially at a time when Foxconn's facilities in China have faced protests during the zero-COVID crisis. Taiwan-headquartered Foxconn is the world's largest contract manufacturer, which makes smartphones for Apple, Xiaomi, hearables for Boat, and telecom and networking products for ZTE in India. Some of the smartphone brands Foxconn assembles are among the top 5 selling phones in the world. Its presence will increase India's participation in world electronic market and give a push to the Prime Minister's flagship Atmanirbhar Bharat project in a cutting-edge sector of tech. These manufacturing facilities will empower India in the electronic space and will save billions of dollars in imports from other countries, particularly from China. And while Foxconn expansion is undoubtedly advantage India, it is the internal competition between Telangana and Karnataka that has triggered political heat and suspense. And it's not hard to see why. Such a facility would spawn 100,000 jobs in the near term. For India, the timing is right, as it's also looking for investments to emerge as a global semiconductor hub. The road to iPhone manufacturing domination is a long one, and India has already achieved many huge milestones. In a year when both Karnataka and Telangana go to the polls, who gets to boast of the big iPhone factory prize? Watch this space. Bureau Report, India Today.
Retail sales of automobiles have risen 16% in February, with double-digit growth seen across all segments, including two-wheelers. Dealers sold a total of 1.78 million vehicles in February. Passenger vehicle sales were up 11% at 2.8 lakh units, while commercial vehicles were up 17% on year at 79,000 units. The two-wheeler segment, which accounts for over 71% of the total auto sales volume, saw sales improve by nearly 15% year-on-year. According to FADA, the Federation of Auto Dealers Association, El Nino weather conditions are likely to impact auto sales this year. They also added that two-wheeler sales are still to recover to pre-pandemic levels and that passenger vehicle sales are to see a full recovery in rural markets. The Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme has opened for subscription today. The scheme will remain open till Friday, with the government setting a price of 5,611 rupee per gram of gold. A discount of 50 rupees will be available for those applying online and paying digitally. Before you invest, here's my colleague Tina Jain Kaushal, Personal Finance Editor, Business Today, giving you the details of this investment opportunity.
Hi Abha. What sets sovereign gold bond apart is the fact that it also offers a fixed interest rate of 2.50% per annum. At the time of maturity, the gold value at current market prices is returned along with the last interest, which is credited semi-annually. For example, if the gold price is rupees 50,000 per 10 grams and after 8 years, if it reaches rupees 60,000, then apart from the gain of rupees 10,000, you will also receive interest of around rupees 1,550 every year, which amounts to rupees 10,000 over the course of 8 months. The second important point is these bonds come with a tenure of 8 years. However, you have the flexibility to exit in the 5th, 6th and 7th year on the interest payment dates. Thirdly, you can invest a maximum of 4 kgs annually in these bonds. The minimum limit is 1 gram of gold. Fourthly, if you buy online, you can also avail discount as the prices get reduced by rupees 50 per gram for those who make the payment through digital mode. The fifth point is about taxability. The best part is no tax is levied on the redemption of these bonds after the completion of the maturity period. If you, however, sell it before 36 months, then the gains will be taxable as short-term capital gains, which is taxable as per your income tax slab. For bonds held more than 36 months, the profit is categorized as long-term capital gain and is taxable at 20% post-indexation.
Thank you for that, Tina. Now, there's one very good reason you should think of investing in these gold bonds. The first series of bonds issued in November 2015 have given returns of a massive 113% till date, not including the fixed interest of 2.5% per annum on these bonds. They were then issued at 2,684 rupees, and the price of the latest issue, as I mentioned, is 5,611 rupees. Tina, let me just come back to you for a moment on this spectacular rise, because do we anticipate gold will continue to see these kind of returns going forward?
Yes, Abha, investors who are looking for options beyond equities can consider investing in gold, and it makes sense currently considering high inflation, global volatility and underperforming equity markets. The right approach is to invest 10 to 15% in gold as it diversifies one's portfolio. And as you said, going by the returns of the first tranche of the scheme, which comes to around 10.5% per annum, it has done well for investors so far.
All right, Tina, thanks so much for that. That's where we leave it on the show tonight from all of us here on BTTV. Thanks for watching.
Another catchphrase, sir, which we've noticed here at MWC and all around the world since November, I think, the last time that we met, has been generative artificial intelligence. Generative AI, ChatGPT being spoken about all over the world. How much of an impact do you think that will have on the workflow on the tech side, on exactly how a tech company operates, on how our jobs will pan out in the next few months?
I am so happy about the generative AI. The reason I'm happy is it's the same way. Because we are in Mobile World Congress, I'll give you an example that 95, 96, if you remember, India was one of the most highest cost per minute call, and incoming and outgoing both charge 16 rupees a minute. And those blind calls, call me back. I was from that upbringing, and I land in Hong Kong airport. There was this bank of phones, but people were talking on a mobile phone. And I came back and I said, this is an industry you need to be in. The convenience was 10 steps away. People were talking on mobile phones. So what happened? Mobile phone automated the public phone systems.
Correct.
It automated everything that came along. And I don't have to describe to you whether it's a health tech, fintech, media tech, whatever device it is.
Absolute disruptor.
Now, to me, it did not take away jobs, it created jobs. Now, this is exactly what I think about generative AI. That the use cases are there, and the more they get defined, that means more jobs it will create. Technology is the heart of everything.
Watching India Today.
Hello, you're watching India Today and I'm Aishwarya Paliwal. Let's start the show with the headlines. Rahul Gandhi addresses the British Parliament, reiterates democracy under threat in India, says open and free conversations are being suppressed by the Narendra Modi government. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia to spend Holi in Tihar jail, sent to 14-day judicial custody in the Liquorgate case. Telangana and Karnataka governments fight it out over the iPhone manufacturing plant. Foxconn says no deals have been finalized during its CEO's visit. Fear and panic grips the migrant labourers working in the state of Tamil Nadu as alleged fake videos of attacks go viral. Stalin government reassures them of their safety, says census of all migrant workers underway at the moment. Another encounter in Umesh Pal murder case. Cops killed the main shooter in Vijay Kumar. alias Usman, in an encounter. Now, the Congress MP Rahul Gandhi has launched a fresh attack at the centre and at the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, while speaking at an event in the United Kingdom, he accused the government of trying to muzzle the voice of the opposition. But this time he went a step further. The Congress leader has claimed Western countries were oblivious to the fact that democracy is being undone in India. Now, Rahul Gandhi's criticism has angered the Narendra Modi government. Watch this report.
These questions, we're not allowed to raise them in the House. It's a fact. It's shameful, but it's true.
Rahul Gandhi is on the offensive. In a series of events in the United Kingdom that started with an address at the Cambridge University, the Congress MP has gone hammer and tongs at the Narendra Modi government. But his one comment has riled the BJP the most.
So-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious that a huge chunk of the democratic model has come undone, right? Which is a real problem. With regards to, and frankly, the opposition is fighting that battle, right? And it's not just an Indian battle. It's actually a much more important battle. It is a battle for a huge part of the democratic people on this planet.
The statement on the face of it suggested the world has a role to play in shaping India's democracy. The Modi government hit back, claiming the Congress leader was defaming India on foreign soil.